Okay.
Okay, actually on here it says Facebook Live, and it says stop. If we hit that, it says stop live. You don't see it on there?
The exposure is picking up this. See that? How it's making the rest of this dark? Or you got it on auto exposure?
Well, no, it's not auto exposure. Things just.
Sorry.
She's out of frame. It's picking up. It's trying to.
6 feet, guys.
It's auto exposure.
5 minutes,
because it's
15,
seeing
16,
that
17,
what's it
8
doing?
seconds, it's counting.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, 3.
Are we good?
But I couldn't, I was looking through Phil's face on the face to see on ours, if I could see it. I can't. Why didn't exposure check when I was on? Oh wait, there it is, boom, I just redid it. It is there, yes.
Hi, guys. Tamara with Precision Camera here. We are going to talk about lighting and microphones today because everybody has come in, they're asking us questions. How can I make my web broadcast bigger, my podcast? The two biggest things in you trying to do something remotely, doing stuff from home because we're all housebound, is lighting and audio. And I'm going to go over a few helpful hints and a couple of lighting choices that you might choose. This one right here is the Nan light, okay? It is the LumaPad 25. It's $109.90, or I'm sorry, it's $109 even. And I like this one because more light is always better. You can have more light. But if you guys notice right here, I can actually control the, how bright this actually is. So I can add more light, I can add more light, I can add more light. So if you see, this is pretty light, pretty bright. If you guys are looking at me right now, you're gonna see how this is just gonna change a little bit in the way that I look, okay? Now, the other thing is we have degrees of Kelvin. If anybody has ever bought a light bulbs come in degrees of Kelvin. The differences between the degrees of Kelvin is basically the color temperature, okay? I'm getting a yellow, nice warmer look for me. This is a very cold look, which sits at about 5,500 degree Kelvin, where I start to turn it down a little bit. I'm getting a little bit warmer. I'm getting a little bit warmer. I'm getting a little bit warmer. And I will go here to probably about 4,200 degree Kelvin, okay? So you get to pick and choose the look that you want. I'm really fond of this panel right here just because it's a very diffuse light. It's not as bright as some of the other ones, so it'll be a little less harsh on your eyes. And this is why I like this. Now, this one only comes with an AC adapter. Right now I'm using the 2 L-series batteries from Sony. And just to kind of show you the package, if I find it, it's right here. All right, you would want to get this if you buy this, because this is a 2 battery setup. This has to have 2 batteries if you don't have it in an AC adapter, okay? So I've got 2 batteries right here, and I've got a quick charger, and this is only $129.99. So, I mean, really basically for $230, I'm getting the light, I'm getting the batteries, I'm getting an AC adapter. The only other thing that you may need, okay, would be a light stand or something to stand it on, okay? You're given this little bracket, and this little bracket comes with all of these little light stands so that I can tilt it, move it up, down, and so that I can put it on a light stand. As you see, all I have to do is just pull this off, put it on my light stand, and do. Now this is a little mini light stand, so if you're just doing tabletop stuff, it works really good. If you wanted to go maybe a little bit taller, okay, this will go to 6 feet, and I'm going to show you how to work this because it gets a little confusing as far as how do I get this light stand to work right. It comes like this, and what you're going to do is you're just going to pull out these legs like this, and you're just going to pull up, and you see how it gets, comes down here. Watch your fingers. I'm going to tell you right now, if you pull this down too fast in your fingers right here, you're going to hurt yourself, so be careful. Then I'm going to tighten it right here, okay? I'm going to put it down, and then I can make it whatever length that I want. And then if I wanted to tilt it, I'm just going to grab this, and I'm just going to tilt it whichever way that I want to tilt it to give me a little bit more light, okay? This one's $20 right here. This one right here will go up to 9 feet. Okay, and it is $39.99. So if you think you need a big, sturdy, you know, one that you're going to kind of grow with your photography, you might go with this one. But really, for these little lights, this little cheap $20, not cheap, affordable $20 light stand is a great way to go. Okay, I'm going to run over just a couple other ones that I really kind of like. I like this little iCan. It's the iCan Onyx 15W. Watt. It's 80 bucks, but what I like about it is in the package, you're getting the battery, you're getting the charger, you're getting almost everything you need except for an AC adapter, okay? And it is $80. So it's a nice setup for only $80, okay? Now, this one right here is just like me putting 2 of them. And once again, I have to have 2 batteries to have this operate. And they give you the 2 batteries, a charger, and this one right here is $140, $139.99. Now, this ProMaster kit I'm really kind of fond of just because you get everything. You get AC adapter, you get the battery, you get the light, you get the swivel stand, you get the foot stand right here, you get a remote. So that if you're standing right there and you think you need a little bit more light, you can actually control the light with a remote. Now this setup right here is $180, all right? And it also comes with a carrying case. So this is an all-inclusive set. It's nice diffused light. I'm a big fan of this one too. These 2 right here are probably my biggest ones. Now they have a mini little Nan light here, okay? This one's $49. It is just by itself. You get the one little swivel thing right here and the light, and that is it. So you'll need either an AC adapter or you'll need a battery set to do it. If you want to go with the battery, we sell a battery and a charger for like $69.99, okay? Now this is, like I said over here, this is that 2 light kit. This is the OB240, all right? So now let's talk a little bit about sound, okay? Sound to me is going to be one of the most important things, okay? So we've got a nice little setup, setting right up here. Now, I really like, if you're doing something like what we're doing today, I really like the little lavalier setup because as you notice, I'm moving back and forth and my voice is not changing. If I was to just have a microphone on top of my camera shooting at me right now, and every time I went like this, you would not hear me as good, okay? So this is where I like the lav setup, okay? And I'm gonna go over a couple of our most popular ones. We have the Rode Wireless Go, okay, which is just a basic Bluetooth, okay, and we have the Blink, which is Saramonics version, all right? So the differences between the two, okay, Rode has a little bit more of a battery set. Both of them are USB chargeable, so all you have to do is just charge them up, and it's USB chargeable. They both have microphones, okay? This is a microphone, or you can actually do a lav set and actually have a lav right here, okay? All right, so both of them are set up like this. Saramonic has a tendency to be a little bit more affordable than the Rode mics. They don't have as big of a name as Rode. The thing that you're getting with this that you do not with the Wireless Go is you're actually getting the lavalier kit inside it. This one you do have to pay an extra $80 if you want a lavalier. If you don't mind going like a cheap route and getting a lavalier like this is 10 feet though. So 10 feet's kind of hard if you're just walking around with a 10 feet lead laying around, okay? So biggest difference with the Saramonic to the Rode 2 is I can buy a 2 microphone setup. So let's just say Omar, who's doing the camera work over there, if I wanted him to talk and me to talk, it would feed into one line and you could set that up. This is $24.99 for 2. $179.99 for one. Now, the wireless Go setup right here is $199 with no lavalier, okay? We do have both of these, all three of these, the two, the one, and then the for the Saramonic and the Rode in stock. We finally got them back in, okay? Now, let's just say that you're doing through your cell phone, okay? A lot of people are having this up. We've got like a little tripod mount so that you can mount this on your tripod, and they're doing this, well, they need some kind of microphone for their phone. The one thing that you want to realize is that the ports are going to be different, all right? With a cell phone port, you have to have, if you can kind of see right here, all right, he's going to zoom in just a little bit. This is for a regular camera mic. It has one little ring on there. If I'm going to go into a cell phone mount, it's going to have two little rings because it's left and right sound. This is just one lead feed in, okay? The other ones are going to be left and right, okay? Now, we have several different ones here. We have a lightning port, and we have just a regular, say, Android port or the old iPhone ports. These make good video, guys, and you can set up fairly easy. Tripod over here, lavalier over there. Now, these are a little bit more expensive. When you go to the lavalier mics like this, you are looking at about $100, okay, for the lightning port. I think the regular the port for the regular Androids is like $79. Don't quote me on that. Or you could do one of these where this is going to be poised on your phone. So in other words, you're going to click this little part into your phone, okay, and you're actually going to have it sitting right there and shooting at you. So this one right here is $79, all right, and this is the Rode version. This is the Saramonic version. It's $75. They both have little wind things, so if you're walking outside, all right, you can do those just with one other person. Keep your 6 feet distance, okay? The other thing, I've had a lot of people ask me about podcasting. Okay, if you're starting to do podcasting and everything, this little Rode microphone setup is really awesome. It looks just like, you know, those professional little things, right? This microphone, that way you can do, you know, straight in. Now, the only thing is this has to be set into a recorder, okay? You can't just plug this without an adapter into, okay, your computer. And if you're doing just computer work, you would have to get an XLR to 3.5 port to go into your computer to make it work. Right now, you're giving no cables because they don't know what you want to do. This is $99, and it is a great setup. Now, how do I set this up? What do I use? Well, you could use the fancy wiggle microphone jack holder thingy that goes up and springs, got spring loaded. Or if you're just doing something on your desk, this little DS1 desktop stand by Rode is really nice. You can just set it right there. Your mic is going to go just straight onto there. And this right now is running $30. So you can get a nice podcast setup, good quality for $130, all right? Now, if you, we're working on trying to get a lot of classes for everybody, okay? We're going to be doing some free, okay? We're going to be doing some that, you know, you're going to have to pay for. But keep a look at our website, and you're going to start to see a lot of classes come in, all right? Now, Ron, are you almost ready? All right, come on over, Ron. Ron's going to talk to you about Panasonic. So now maybe you need a camera to help set you up. We're just going to trade mics here real quick, and he's going to. If you guys need anything from me, you can call me. It's on our website, 512-7. Oh, this is right here. This is the Sennheiser. This is probably the most reliable lav setup that there is. Here you go, Ron. But it's meant to be in a crowded area so you don't bleed on people. This one, it runs around $600, $750. For what you guys are doing at home, I think the cheaper Bluetooth microphones are just fine, okay? Any questions, holler. You can use my cell phone, 512-774-4548. You can email me at tgreen@precision-camera.com. We are here to help you guys out. We're doing, as much as we can to try and get you guys set up. Ron, take her away.
Okay, guys, good afternoon. My name is Ron. A lot of y'all probably know me from the store. And I normally teach all the Panasonic classes and go over all the fun, amazing, life-changing things that Panasonic can do for you. But basically, one thing that I wanted to go over that a lot of people I don't even think know about, and that would make a real difference to anybody who is operating Panasonic camera right now for any of their at-home live broadcasts or are considering what camera to use for the time that we're going through when you can't really get out very much. Basically, more maybe a one-man or a one-man, two-man type thing. You don't have a lot of people that can help you out with the equipment while you're doing your broadcasts or doing your live shows, whatever applies. It's kind of hard to run a camera by itself, and especially when you need focusing transitions and things like that, depending on what you are, doing, whether it be working with small objects or different people, staggered back, someone's closer, someone's further away, any kind of setup to where you need to pull focus to the front or move focus to the back. Again, it's what we call focus pulling. The Panasonic cameras, the GH5, the GH5S, the S1, and even the FZ2500, which are all excellent cameras for video purposes. These guys all have let's call it a pre-programmed way that you can customize how the camera is going to move from one focusing position to the next. And essentially, what you can do is set the camera up to be prepared to move focus from up to 3 different points, 3 different positions or places or distances, whatever you want to call it, throughout the whole composition or the view. It's something that honestly I wasn't even very aware of up until recently, and I think it's a great thing to cover when it comes to how to use these things, because it can really, really simplify, based on your workflow and your creativity, really simplify what's going on with dealing with focusing with these cameras. Now, of course, if you're a manual focuser, there's manual focus, but you have to be hands-on on the camera all the time. This is a way to, let's call it, augment the autofocusing system. So hopefully you can see the screen pretty well. To get into this, this is basically how it works. It's not hard to do at all. First thing to do is just make sure that your settings, before anything else, are in continuous autofocus, because of course the camera can't refocus and track with things if it's not. So AFC, autofocus continuous, is definitely the way to go whenever you're doing video, regardless, but this is what this technique uses. The next thing to make sure that you're in is the actual dedicated video mode on the mode selection wheel of the camera. And
Camera if you can.
let's see if I can, whoops, tilt this over. So basically on Panasonic cameras and some others, that is going to be, if you can see it here, I'm trying to tilt this thing over as much as possible. It's going to be the little video camera icon with the M next to it. When you're in that mode, basically what you're telling the camera is, hey camera, we're doing video. Forget photos, forget photo settings. I need widescreen, 16:9, and I need video control, period. And that's what the camera switches over in its brain as to how it starts thinking. It basically throws photo out the window at that point. And if and when you hit the menu button, you're going to be looking at pretty much all video menu settings. We're not worried about photo here at all. Now, this particular feature is called focus transition. And again, it's something that you can set up so that once you have set up the particular areas or points of focus in your composition, then all you have to do on the screen is tap on whichever position and the camera will transition back and forth. It sounds a little weird, but once you see it, it will make better sense. It's something that you have to set up, so we're going to go through a quick way, or just kind of the steps on how to go ahead and do that. And it is, again, through the menu. This isn't just a quick button on the back or the function, function menu, FN button or anything like that. This is going to be done through the menu. The camera is expecting you to set this up every time if you want to do this. So, menu button, and you're in the dedicated video mode, the dedicated video menu, and you're going to start out in the top, video tab right there, where the video camera icon and the mode, not this one with no letter, but let's just say the video camera icon with the letter. Right now, this GH5S happens to be in video mode manual. So the camera settings, shutter, aperture, and ISO are all manual control. I don't have them set to anything specific because right now it doesn't really, those things don't apply to this focus transition technique. So you're going to be in that first camera tab and you're going to pull over, and this would apply again, GH5, GH5S, S1, and the FZ2500. You're going to pop over into the sub options for that menu tab, and you're going to be on page 2 of it. So, for example, those are all the options in page 1 of 2, and then down here in page 2 of 2. And there's focus transition. And when you select on that, you're going to get all these options to change. So basically, the camera wants you to set up the options before you actually start using this feature. And it's kind of like setting a camera up to do, you have to set up the options for a camera before you do a time lapse or a stop motion thing or anything else. And there's a list of four things here, the best way I can describe it. You have focus pull setting and transition speed and transition record, and then finally transition weight. And a couple of these aren't that necessary, but the first two definitely are. So the first thing, focus pull setting, and then there's start, but we don't want to do that because we haven't even programmed it yet. So you hit start after you go ahead and set all of the transition settings that will be basically unique to you, but until you set the settings, nothing happens. So focus pull setting to start, and basically what we're doing, you have up to 3, let's call it points, areas, what have you, that you can designate on the screen at any given time. And what you're doing is you're telling the camera, hey camera, I need a position for you to focus on over here, and then I need a position for you to focus on over here, and then I need you're telling the camera you need the camera to set a position maybe somewhere off in the background. And you'll be able to select between or amongst these 3 positions, up to 3 positions, of where you want to focus at any given time, just with a tap of a button on the back of the screen. And that's why this is so cool. You don't even have to manipulate the lens or try to get the camera to figure out where you want it to focus. You've already told it where you want to focus. So let's say I'm just going to go ahead and set position 1. And let me do something real quick. You know what, that is a little bit dark. Hold on. Technical difficulties here. There we go. Let's brighten this up. All right, we'll use just the background here to work this. All right, back to menu, and then focus transition setting. So I'm going to set the first position simply by clicking on that, and then the camera is going to have me move the focusing area around to where I would want to leave it for, the first position. And basically, that is where my first one is going to be. So I'm telling it that I want it to consider that blown up area right there in the bottom right corner the first position that I might want it to grab focus on when I tell it to. And I'm going to lock that in. And it goes, great, got it. And then we're going to go back and, oops, hold on one second.
Your screen's too bright.
There we go. Okay. And hold on one second. I was told the screen is just a little bit bright, so let me dial that down. All right, there we go. We'll try that. Okay. So back to the menu, focus transition, focus pull setting. So I locked in the first position, and I had it a little bit closer to the foreground, a little bit further into the background. So I'm going to set one other transition point with position 2. And I'm just going to tap the screen and say, all right, now I want my second transition, my second focus pull back and forth from one position to the next.
Your screen's too bright, you can't see it, so underexpose it a little bit.
Okay. And we're going to move that up to the top right. Hold on one second.
I turned it down. It's good here.
Okay. Right about there, that looks good? Great.
Is that good? You're delayed.
All right.
It looks over. A little bit darker. Looks overexposed.
All right, we're working with technical difficulties here. Hang on, folks.
Little bit darker.
How about that? That good?
You're delayed.
That's good.
That's good? All right. Okay, here we go. So, focus transition, focus settings, position number 2. I'm just going to move the position where I want it. And again, it's expanded out a little bit to let me know that that area, that specific spot, is what I'm going to be focusing on as I transition back and forth. And wherever I move it, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm not going to hit the menu set button. I'm going to hit exit down in the bottom right corner. And what exit does is that and then set, and then that actually locks the point in. So if I don't hit on the screen exit and then set, the point's not locked in. And you can find yourself thinking you're all set up with these things when you're actually not. So basically, you just kind of have to watch for that. This is just a fact of life when it comes to all this equipment. It happens to all of us all the time that you think a setting is set one way and it's not, or something's turned on when it's not, or vice versa. And it can really throw you off when you're trying to get things done. So what I did was essentially I set 2 different focusing points, or 2 different places, and I am ready to transition back and forth. I'm not going to touch the lens, because if I zoomed out or if I fiddled with anything on the lens, I might mess up the way that it's going to focus. So basically this is a set the camera, set the lens in position, and then set up the focusing points and go. So I've got those 2 things set. And then I'm going to go back here, and now I'm going to look at my, the rest of these are just kind of like, okay, I've set my focusing points, but how is it going to work back and forth between those 2 or amongst the 3 if you use all 3 of them? So the next thing to consider is the focus transition speed. How fast do I want that to blend back and forth between the 2 focusing points? Default happens to be set up on medium, but you can go high or super high, meaning obviously it's going to kind of jump back and forth, or low or super low. I don't necessarily usually recommend any kind of focusing transition that is very, very fast, because it will a lot of times look a little bit unnatural. We're just used to films, movies, whatever, where the focusing is actually going to transition slowly back and forth. But there have been, plenty of things that we've seen where, as well, a few things, depending on the attitude of the video or the emotion of the scene, where jumping focus real fast back and forth kind of fits, and there are reasons to do that. But for the most part, for the general purpose, a smooth but not too fast, not too slow transition is a good idea. So I would recommend usually medium And if you need it a little bit faster, high, I wouldn't necessarily always jump up into super high or definitely not super low, because then it's kind of like waiting forever for that transition to take place. So we're going to leave it on medium. Now, focus, transition, recording. Basically, this is where I'm going to set let's see, focus, transition, recording, where I'm going to set the position where I want to start. And then focus, transition, weight. This is one that's completely up to you. Focus, transition, weight basically means that you are going to activate one, focus transition point from one to the next, but the camera won't immediately move to that point. So let's say I've got one point that is focused on the foreground, and then I know I have a thing, a subject, whatever it is in the background that I want to transition to. But I might, for some reason, want it set up so that I can go ahead and tell the camera to focus in the background on that point that I've set, but it won't immediately do that. And there are reasons for that, but for the most part, most people will just go to the next focusing point and have it immediately start transitioning from one to the next. So that's completely up to you if you get into this, how you want it to transition right away, or select on a point and then one of the points you've set, and then it waits a little bit, a second or two, and then it transitions over. So that's one that is really up to the user, and me personally, I can't think of a time when I would use that. So essentially now what we've done is we've set the parameters, and then I'm going to go to Start. And Start gives me, okay, we're ready to go with focusing transition, and you'll see on the screen that I have position 1 and position 2. And so all I have to do is tell the camera to switch back and forth at any given moment from focusing down here in the bottom right where I set the first one to focusing back up here in the top right where I set the second one. Now this is a really rudimentary example, but hopefully describing this technique is something that some of you at least will find really useful. And again, this is a great thing to use when when you're working with basically staggered subjects. You've got something in the foreground, and then you need to transition to the background to demo something, and then easily transition back to the foreground. But nothing has changed position. You're just going backwards and forwards, or front to back, side to side, whatever applies. I think it's a really cool feature, and I would highly recommend it for those of you who especially are working at home right now, doing broadcast transmissions from home right now, and you don't have a bunch of other people to help you out. If you do have someone to help you, or let's say maybe they're not the most camera savvy person in the world, all you have to do is have them stand behind the camera, and when you give some signal or say something, whatever it is, change the focus, focus on this, focus on that, all they have to do is walk up and just hit position 1, position 2, or if you've set up all three, position 3. It's very simple to do. Nobody has to be, to help you out, nobody has to be like a videographer and understand all this crazy equipment, because some of this stuff is crazy. And as I like to say in my video class, my Panasonic class, and I talk about the video options, video is a weird thing. It really is. It has a lot of stuff that's different about it, and that's just the technology world that we live in. But at any rate, I hope this was definitely useful to some of you. And again, one more time, this works on the GH5, the GH5S, the S1, and the FZ2500. And I think I have a question. Go for it.
Talk about the tripods.
Okay.
Do I want a video tripod versus a regular tripod, or do I want one versus the other?
Very good question. So this is not about the Panasonic equipment, but it's something that I really do have a kind of a geeky interest in. Tripods in general. So we've got a lot of tripods set up here. We've got a good tripod with the camera on it, and I've got a good tripod that I'm using here as a holder for the cameras. But at the same time, tripods, good tripods, proper tripods, will seriously save you a truckload of frustration. And the reason that there are tripods that are designated as true video tripods is because of the functionality mainly of the video head. There's a reason for this long arm sticking out here. There's a reason that they are smooth, fluid motion, panning and tilting basically up, down, left, and right. Those kinds of things are a nightmare if you don't have a strong, sturdy, quality tripod to help you out, especially when you're doing video. Video tripods were designed to meet the needs of, honestly, how we look at video and how our brains, basically process what we're seeing and if we like it or not. Our brains don't like a camera that's shaking around all over the place. Our brains don't like it when you try to move the camera and all of a sudden it seems to just jump position or skip or do that herky-jerky thing back and forth. This particular tripod is an excellent tripod by Sirui, and this one is going to be their VH10. We have several of these in stock, by the way. It's going to hold a lot of weight. I think it holds up to about 10 or 12 pounds, and very, very smooth action. A lot of cool features on it. Very tall. This is actually quite short. I could have this thing set up to about a little over 6 feet if I really needed it to get that high. But video tripods are going to give you a smooth pan and tilt transition without jumping around and you can adjust the tension of that pan and tilt. So you can move it just a little bit real smoothly or not. It's not going to, jump around on you like some low quality tripods would. And good video tripods will also invariably have some kind of feature on them. Some of them call it a bowl that the tripod head would sit in, so that if your tripod is uneven for whatever reason, you can flatten the head back out so you still get your vertical, horizontal panning and tilting flat, not at some crazy angle. They all do it a little bit different. The Sirui tripod here happens to be, instead of a bowl that the video head sits in, it has it's kind of like a reverse ball head, so that if I needed to reposition the camera, for some reason I'm outside, I'm on uneven ground, and I've got an uneven tripod, instead of just dealing with some crazy thing like that, I can reposition it so that this is still flat. And then I can easily pan and tilt back and forth. So a lot of video tripods have some kind of functionality like that as well. But bottom line, guys, seriously, having a good piece of equipment to get the job done will make your videos look a lot better, will just look better, better presentation quality in general, will keep things from jumping around and looking herky-jerky or whatnot. And to compare it to a photographic tripod, of course, it is possible to put any camera, including video cameras, on a typical photographic tripod with, say, a ball head or something like that. But using a photographic tripod with a ball head or a three-way pan and tilt with the handle sticking out that you have to loosen up to move it all, you're going to get a lot of shake out of that trying to move the camera around. It will not be smooth, or it will not be nicely vertical or horizontal motion, and it'll just look, well, it just won't look that good. Just objectively speaking, it just won't look that good. That's why these types of tripods are around. That's why they've always been used for these purposes. So again, this particular one that I love using as a demo tripod for all of our equipment on these broadcasts is the Sirui, oh geez, criminy, the model, the VHD 2004. The VHD 2004, I love this thing. Ever since we got it in the store quite a while ago, I have thought that this is a fantastic choice and have recommended it a lot. We also have a fantastic Benro tripod that we're using over here for the actual camera for our broadcasts. And Tamara, can you tell me that model real quick?
This is what is it?
Oh, I think it's on that side, the leg right there. Sorry, one moment.
It's the A25 73F.
Okay, so that one is the A2573F. It's a lot of numbers, I know. With the Benro S6 head on it, which the S6 will hold about 14 pounds or so as well. So these are tripods that can really hold a lot. Now these cameras are not that heavy. That's fine. That means I've got perfect control over them. I know that's a lot about tripods, and maybe not that exciting, but nevertheless, tripods, video tripods are huge when it comes to actually doing good professional looking, or let's call it prosumer looking video stuff, even like this. So definitely consider that. If you, and you know you're out there, you're out there if you're fighting with some clunky herky-jerky tripod from, let's say, another not so great store from somewhere else besides us, because we're perfect, we're the best, you know that. Anyway, basically, if you're fighting with a tripod, just go ahead and admit it yourself. That's the first step to recovery, is to admit the problem. And then give us a call. We are still open, of course. We are doing shipping. We're here for you as much as we can be. And we'll talk about tripods. We'll try to get you hooked up with the right one. All right, folks, that's all I've got. And thank you very much. We will see you soon, real soon. All right, be safe. Take care of each other. Have a good day.